Let's talk about how to respond to negative reviews. The first question is, does anyone remember this episode of Kitchen Nightmares with Gordon Ramsay? Let me know in the chat if you remember this episode. And I'm going to take a sip of my water here.
I do, Andy. That was a great episode.
So
Great show.
Now, this is a company called Amy's Baking Company, and you can see on the right, this is a response to people leaving negative reviews. And I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it starts with, most of you are fat, disgusting losers. Now, this is an extreme example of how to not handle a review, but it also is a really good example that when you get too defensive, when you call names, when you call people liars, it doesn't matter if you're right, you look like the jerk. So we've had this happen many times before where, well, I shouldn't say many times, but we've definitely had it happen before where someone will leave our client a negative review and they go on and they call them liars, they call them idiots, they call them all that type of stuff. And that may be 100% right. They may be completely right. But the problem is that to everyone else that's going to look at that review, you look like you're unstable, like there's all kinds of problems. So there's certain ways that you can respond to negative reviews that will actually help you and will make people it'll give people a positive view of your law firm. So here's so what you want to do is, when you're writing the response, you need to not be emotional about it. You need to understand that you are not writing the response for the person that wrote the review. You are writing the response for the person that, for the tens of thousands of potential people that are going to see that review and wonder how you responded to it. That's who you're writing to. You're not writing for the reviewer. The reviewer is probably never going to read it, because I don't believe that they even get notified when there's a response to a review. I don't think that Google does that. So the response is not for them. So, it doesn't really matter what you say to them from a you interacting with them perspective. What you need to do is you need to remember to be polite. You need to thank them for their feedback, and you need to provide a constructive solution to the story, or to a constructive solution to the problem. And I like an offline solution, because when it's an offline solution, then nobody knows what happened. So here's an example of a client that we had recently and a response that I actually wrote. And that's one of the things that we do for our clients. I typically respond to their negative reviews. And so this person said, we met with Mr. Blank about 3 or 4 months ago. My husband was hurt. It doesn't matter what the review is. Bottom line is that the response that I said was, I'm sorry that you feel that way. My priority is protecting my clients and those who've been injured. In all medical malpractice cases, my firm must investigate all the facts before filing a lawsuit. If the facts do not support a lawsuit against a medical professional and one is brought anyway, you risk having to pay the opposing party's attorney's fees. Can't read today. Putting you in a much worse situation than you're already in. To avoid wasting the money and time of our clients that are already in a tight spot, we do not want to put you in that situation, especially when we feel that the evidence will not result in a verdict or settlement in your favor. I apologize if I did not communicate the results of our investigation clearly. It is never my intention to leave a client in the dark or feel that they are not valued. Now, here's the part where I basically offer a solution. Please give me a call at the office or email me and let me know when a good time for me to call you, so we can further discuss our findings and why we made the decision that we did. I hope to hear from you soon. So by doing a response like that, by creating a response like this, you're giving some facts that are basically showing that you're actually acting in their best interest. And you're offering a solution. Now, the solution is not going to be, obviously, if you're a restaurant, it's a lot easier. Come in, I'll give you a free meal. You can't do that, obviously. But basically what this does is this shows that, customer service, clients, client satisfaction, all that type of stuff is a priority. And it also just paints your law firm in a really good light. So these are the types of reviews that or responses that you really should be writing for negative reviews. Here's another one we did. You can see it started as worst law firm ever. I would not recommend, and then it says, they're a scam and very shady and blah, blah, blah. So this was a little bit less straightforward. And I don't remember exactly what the deal was with this one, but The response was, "Thank you very much for taking the time to review our firm. Your input and feedback from all of our clients is vitally important to us, and we always want client expectations to be met, or not only met, but exceeded. Per your comments, we have clearly had some miscommunication, as there are some inaccuracies in your account in your account of your relationship with our firm. This has obviously led to your frustration, for which I greatly apologize. I would like the opportunity to discuss this matter with you as soon as possible so that we can come to a resolution that is to your satisfaction. Please call me at the office as soon as possible, or send me an email with the time that works for me to call you. Thank you." So something that's really interesting is that I end every single one of these messages with, "Please call me at the office or send me an email at a time that works for you." And I always follow with the client. I always say, "How many times has that person ever reached out to you?" And to this day, I've been doing this for, 7 years now, 8 years. I started in 8 years. I have never heard a client say that the person actually reached back out to them. And so that's kind of my point, is that basically this is a review or a response that will paint your law firm in a good light. Now, I've had lawyers contact me and say this is 100% wrong. And you know what? If you think that, then that's fine. This is how I handle it, and I've seen the impact that this type of response has had on basically how what I look at is how it impacts phone calls. And I've seen that these types of responses work much better. Now, there's also some law firms out there that have done some comical responses that I think are pretty funny. There's one special instance of family law attorneys where, let's say the family law attorney is representing the wife and wins the case, and then the husband will go on and leave a negative review for the attorney. I've seen attorneys that actually will turn that around, and they'll give a response something like, "This is the opposing party in my in a divorce case. Based on his 1-star review, you can see that I did a good job." So like stuff like that, I think it's kind of funny, and stuff like that, it's basically, you kind of have to take those at a case-by-case basis. But the reality is that you want to make sure that you're cool, calm, and collected on these things, because at the end of the day, it's kind of like, I kind of look at it like a football game, how the retaliation is always the one that gets the flag. It's never the initial hit, so you got to be careful about how you retaliate and how you answer these reviews. But consistently, this is how we do it, and it works really, really well.